Hello, hello, hello. You guys are awesome. I can see you've already got the hang of the chat room. You're entering in where you're from. Thanks for doing that. So cool to see that everybody can see all these fellow design lovers on one line together, hundreds of us together, talking about pricing, marketing, and getting started for your staging business. I have so much to tell you. This is a brand new training that I am so fired up about. And I'm also a little bit nervous about because you guys are the first people to actually see this training. And it's the first time practically I'm giving it. So, who is this training for? This training is for anyone who's a new stager. Anyone who's just getting started in the industry, kudos to you. It's an awesome industry. You're going to love it. Those even thinking about getting into this industry or just wondering what it's about. Our real estate agents looking into staging. My veteran home stagers, of course, this is for you. I promise you're going to learn a lot on this one, believe it or not. Any design enthusiast or color lovers, you are in the right place. Now that I can see in the chat room that you guys have entered in your information, which is great, go ahead and say, can you all hear me okay? I'm assuming you can. So if you can hear me okay, put in a little yes, yay, now I know you're here. You're in the right place. You are in the right place if you love to take or look at homes and rooms like this and see them turned into this, right? You're in the right place if this is your mojo, because that's all of us is mojo, right? I know that, and they know that about you. And that's what this is going to be about. Thank you to all of you, a lot of you who filled out the survey, because the survey, up until even an hour ago, I was changing my slides, making it really relevant to all of you on the survey. And you can really see from just a snapshot of some of the folks who told me what you wanted. There is some confusion out there on pricing. A lot of you want pricing. How do I price competitively? How do I not underprice myself? How do I build my vacant staging and inventory and shop and keep my costs low so I can price right? All of it. So I want you to know you're in the right place. I'm talking about all this stuff today. I'm going to lift the lid on pricing. So let's talk about what you're going to learn. I'm going to go really fast. You may even want to have your phone out so you can snapshot, take a photo of your computer screen if need be, because I didn't even have time to do notes on this because it's so fresh off the presses, this training. I'm going to tell you the good news and bad news about staging. We're going to talk really honestly in this live webinar. So I'm so glad you're live with me because you're going to get so much more out of it live. We're going to talk about how to talk staging pricing, how to price and deliver staging pricing on your consultations. That's a whole separate thing. And then we're going to talk about how to price and plan for your vacant stagings. That's another separate thing. And we're going to talk how to shop the market. I'm going to show you a couple photos of some of my favorite deals there so you see why that market and getting your costs down and get kind of excited to look at that eye candy, I should say. We're going to talk about the bidding mistakes you may be making on your vacant home. So some of you who are more longtime veterans or new stagers, some of you feeling frustrated about losing out on some of the bids in your local area, go ahead and you could put yes, I get it. And then I'm going to share with you my mind-blowing, super simple way to bid on any vacant home in your area or any area in 2 minutes. I had a pricing epiphany, and I've tested it with a lot of veterans in the area. Don't worry, this isn't coming out of nowhere. And I'm so excited. So how many of you loved it? That's at the end. And what I always say in the beginning, this is a free training for you. This training I'm going to do a large encore for and put it in my training, which is not free, by the way. But if I give you all this great information, is it okay if I sell myself? I'm going to give you a couple specials on my training along the way, and then also bonuses that I'm putting in my training that even my members don't even know. So if that's okay with you, you're getting free training, free good information, my super simple way. Is it okay if I sell on some of my trainings too? A little bit. That's just the cost of being part of this. If that's okay, great. Thank you for saying yes. Perfect. So those of you who are like, who is this person? Who am I? My name is Audra Slinkey. I'm president of the Home Staging Resource. I created the first online mixed media staging and design training company back in 2006. So I've been doing this a long time. I'm a blogger for the National Association of Realtors and my own company, which for short is HSR. So if you see HSR, that's Home Staging Resource. And it was voted the #1 and #2 blogs. I've been winner of the Real Estate Staging Association's Innovator of the Year Award for 3 years and counting. And I'm mostly proud that I've trained the most award-winning stagers in the industry. Kudos to you. And those are the people I tap into, those hundreds of veterans, those people that give so generously to me of what's working, what's not working to help me evolve the training on a regular basis. If you see this logo on someone's website, HSR certified, that means they've gone through that training. If you are HSR certified, a shout out in the chat room always gives me a little courage and confidence because, like I said, I'm nervous given this first brand new training. I also created a color training, if your color, shout out, and an expert e-designer trainer. And these are consultation-based trainings to complement anyone's staging and design business. So thank you. Good. I always test you in the comment. Yay! Like, I knew I'd have a lot of people here. That's great. So let's get to it. Let's get to it. I'm going to give you a lot of meat, and I'm going to talk a lot very fast. And let's just talk about the industry as a whole. Let's talk about some good news and some bad news, okay? The great news about our industry, it is hot, 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 hot. It is here. It's like cheers to you all who are already in the industry. If you're not, you're in the right place. Staging is hot right now. It's so hot. It's tied to real estate. But for some of my veterans are like, ugh, I'm seeing more staging competition now in my area, right? The good news is it's hot. Bad news is when something's hot, you're going to see a little bit more of it. And for some of my stagers, they got to get out of their comfort zone to grow. And we're going to talk about that. The good news, you don't need to be certified to be a stager. So some of you are like, how do I get started? Hey, you can just say, I'm a stager. That's the good news for you. The bad news is you're not going to necessarily know how to price or contracts or all that other stuff that we're even going to talk about a little bit in this training. And for stagers out there, they're seeing other stagers who don't know how to price undercut the industry pricing. Yeah, so this woman's face, a little frustrating. Good news, stagers versus designers have a target market in the form of real estate agents, super easy to market to. They're going to be your great friends. If you have a handful of them who love you, know you, trust you, they send you out to every one of their listings to do staging. You're never marketing yourself a year from now. That's the beauty of staging versus interior design. So if you're looking at, oh, what field do I get into, decorating or interior design or staging? I always say start with staging. It's much easier to market, and good staging turns into design. So that's the good news. Bad news is sometimes those agents are tough negotiators. They drive a hard bargain. Maybe some of you find they're hammering you on the pricing a little bit. So that's just the good news and bad news. Good news, guys, buyers are more savvy now, and they expect that model home look. They want to walk into a home and see it beautifully furnished. And in fact, if you're an agent and you're not doing that, the buyers are a little disappointed because they have an expectation now. Staging is mainstream. Bad news is that model home look is getting more and more expensive for us to create, right? Because the inventory, it's accessories. We like to create these beautiful places. So here's some good news and bad news. I have to preface, because I know you guys are going to say, what is this? I am going to use the term Stagers Connect. It is a private Facebook group that I have with my membership. So when I say this was a conversation in Stagers Connect, I'm going to show you some of the frustrations or epiphanies people have in Stagers Connect. It's because I'm talking about this private group that when somebody signs up for my training, they get access to this group. So I'm just going to preface by saying that because this is what kind of made me do this live webinar for everybody, is people are having some pricing frustrations. And thank you, Krista, for being so transparent in the group, saying she's just frustrated on her vacant homes, and she got 97 comments. And what was cool about it is she got comments from people who are like, I'm brand new, I'm going to watch and learn, I'm following. And then she got comments from a lot of great veterans, hats off to Judith and Kathy and Jeannie, who shared their words of wisdom and expertise. And from this conversation, I was able to take a lot of input and come up with my epiphany, which you're going to see here at the end. That's going to blow your mind. All right. So basically, there's a lot of noise out there. So even if you're on Facebook, you're trying to maybe piece together your staging group, you haven't done any training, or you've done a training and you're still kind of not confident figuring it out. Let me just kind of cut to the chase a little bit for you. Starting a business is not easy. But in this industry, it's not hard to be better than the competition. It's not hard because I told you anybody can be a stager. So a lot of your competition are people who just don't know what they're doing. They're just hanging a shingle. Staging, let me just remind you, when you're preparing your bids or when you're talking to agents and sellers, the staging service is the only cost to the seller that actually makes them money. Imagine you've got $50,000 in your back pocket if that client chooses to use you, right? Your service makes them money. The inspector does not, the appraiser does not, the title company does not. So your staging price, you need to go in on that pricing really with that mindset. But structure, focus, and mindset matters, really matters for the entrepreneur. And a lot of you need to be reminded of some things. And that's what a lot of this honest kind of conversation is going to be in this training. Staging is so much easier today than in the past because opportunity abounds. How many of you on this line, and a shout out to Lisa, who in the survey put, your webinar marks 12 years today that she took my training 12 years ago. She started her business. She's killing it still in business. Shout out to Lisa who's on this training. But Lisa and all of you veterans on the line, put in the chat room, how many of you agree with me that in the past we were convincing realtors of the benefit of staging? Now we just have to compete in the market. How many of you remember those days? It's a lot harder yesterday than today. So let's talk about the industry outlook. I always have to throw this in here. Businesses are optimistic. 2019 is a good year for almost anyone in the service industry. So hello, hooray. Yeah, everyone's a yep, yep, yep. Great. Thank you guys for your feedback. So that's a good thing. Almost everybody is saying business is good. Business is going good. It's going up. There's always going to be the 2% negative Nelly, and that's okay. Latest housing forecast, guys. This was an article last week. My training's always fresh. I'm always pulling from fresh materials. NAR realized they didn't paint as rosy a picture as it's been, especially because the interest rates they're lower. They're not going up. They thought the interest rates would go up. They're not. Staging's tied into real estate market. All things good. NAR just released their 2019 profile of home staging. These statistics are awesome. 94% of buyers agents say that staging has an effect. 94%. Almost half of sellers agents believe that effect increases the value at least 6 to 20% in the home. Like I said, it's that $50,000 that you've got in your back pocket when you go in there. So we got a price like that. Over 83% of buyers find it easier to visualize the property. And no, absolutely 0% of sellers agents believe staging had a negative impact. So basically, these stats have gotten better and better every year. By the way, my members who said your HSR, I just added these new fresh stats for you to plug into the forms that we give you, and it's in the section of the training under home staging statistics. So those are for you. Bonus number 1. Okay, so here's a map. If you were wondering, okay, why is everything going so well for the staging and design industry? Well, people have equity. Here's a map of how much people have equity in their homes. They've got money. And if you're wondering if maybe it's just supposed to be this year that staging's going to be good, no, it's in years to come. Here we are. This is a forecast through 2021, all looking good for residential remodeling, which is tied to staging. This new article, majority of consumers are actually planning a home improvement project this year. So now has never been a better time to get in the industry. This is all good news for you. So part of getting into the industry, understanding that good news, is let's understand pricing, okay? Problem is, when we talk pricing, people get confused, right? Are we talking about a vacant home, or are we talking about an occupied home, right? Are we talking about a vacant home where we're putting in furnishings? We're talking about unoccupied where the furnishings are there and we're doing walk and talks. In the vacant realm, are we talking about renting from a furniture rental company, or actually a stager who owns their own furniture? So there's a bit of price confusion going on out there. And to confuse you more, I included this this image that I kind of liked. I like you in EPS, which I do. But there's confusion because some of us are talking apples and our clients are thinking oranges because we're not clear on our pricing, right? That's a problem. So let me tell you, if you are out there and you're like, I'm looking on stagers' websites trying to find out how much they charge for a consultation to see what to charge, don't do that. Because the term consultation is so broad in our industry. It could mean for some stagers a simple bid for work, and for other stagers an entire staging report and priority action list for the client of what to do. Can we both agree? Put it yes in the chat room. Can we both agree those are two different things that should be charged very differently? Yeah. On the other hand, I just talked about staging occupieds. For vacants, Sometimes we're given a bid on a home and the agent is thinking this in the bid. They have an expectation, again, apples, and the bid that they chose was more like that. Yikes. Can we both agree these are two different types of jobs? This is why price alone, and there's so much confusion in the market. So I just had to kind of give you those visuals. So here's how you overcome that in anything that you do. You have to clearly define your deliverables. What are you giving and how much are you asking? And so when you do that, when you define it for yourself and you put it on paper, you're setting an expectation to the client. So don't just define it for yourself, define it for your client. And you got to be honest with that client about what's going to give them the most return on investment. We got to go in there and be transparent. We are getting paid to be honest on how they're going to make money on that home. And it really helps. This is just sales 101. Package your services. When you package it, it's bite-sized, people can understand it. And when you stair-step your pricing, you're allowing for people to afford you. We can always stair-step that. I'm going to walk you through it. Don't worry. But it starts with dialing in your output. So for my new stagers out there, people thinking about the industry, the great news is you just explain. This is an example of a form that I give in my training of what a consultation, an occupied staging consultation, when a stager goes into the house and they're walking through with a walk-in staging report and they're telling the client everything they need to do. And if you read through all of this stuff that the stager is doing for the client, it's detailed phone interview, it's research ahead of time so we know who we're designing for, it's checklists for each room of the home, it's a checklist for them so they know how to show the home, it's design, it's 8 steps in each room so that we know they're going to get an offer and they're going to get the best price. They walk away with a shopping list and a vendor list. And they get all that for $250. Put it in the chat room. Does that seem like a pretty good deal to you? Problem is, we're not always explaining all the great stuff that we're willing to give to the client. We're not putting it down on paper. We're not communicating that, right? So it is about setting that expectation and communicating it. That's why I do give these things. This is part of that expectation is not just about writing it, but also giving a visual. So this is an example of a visual, and I have several of these different ones in my training where people can say, okay, this is what your staging checklist is, kind of like this. And in the training, when they're walking and talking, they're through the home with the client, which is so much fun. They've got their staging report. They've got it in front of them. They've got hot tips. They're doing a little education on page 1. And in each room, they've got checklists, highlight, underline. They're just quickly walking through the home, using the example, staging report, check this box, underline this. This is what you do. A few extra places of things they can fill out, and it doesn't take them any time. See how that works? And I want you to know they're not going home and writing it down and spending hours and hours doing a written proposal. And if you're doing that, that $250 turns into $10 an hour. Do we want to work for $10 an hour? No. So just to give you a glimpse of, what that consultation looks like, the vacant stager versus the occupied stager, a lot of times stagers choose. So I have a lot of people who think, how do I get started in the industry? I don't really have money for inventory, this and that. You don't need money for inventory. I told you most of the homes on the market are occupied. Most of them need just you in the home and that staging report. So that could just be you. If you have monetary constraints, you don't have a lot of money to invest in your business, and you need more time flexibility. A lot of my retirees, they just like that 2 hours in and out. They like to work with people and offer solutions, and they love the challenge of creatively working with people's things. Maybe a consultation-based service, which is a zero overhead business, is for you. I'm going to walk you through both those business models in the training, but here's what it looks like. This is a consultation home. This is my sister's work. I always like to, I just throw it in to give you an idea. She walked through the home, did the walk and talk, dial in, tell them everything they need to do. And you can imagine that seller was pretty overwhelmed. Most sellers are, right? She didn't hold back. I'm telling you, you got to be honest about what they need to do. But they want multi-million dollars on this home. This is how they're going to get it, right? Go ahead in the chat room and ooh and ah. Yeah. But guess what? This didn't just happen with the walk and talk. They said, please come back tomorrow and maybe the next day. And she did some shopping for them. And this is how she dialed in each space. So she did the consultation. She sold a staging day of maybe some shopping. This is a before, guys. and this is the after. I think we can all agree that this seller got thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars more, if not that $50,000 in their pocket, because they invested what, $1,500 on her services, right? So how a lot of people go, well, okay, that's what I want to do. I just want to do consults. I don't want to do, okay, how do you make money doing consults? They always wonder on that. I have to always include the slide. If you do 2 staging consultations a week, that's $500, right? $250 each. 1 staging day, $700, because just like my sisters, it turned into a staging day. A color consultation, not hard to sell on these guys. A lot of people are afraid of color. That's $1,500 or $1,550 a week, or $77,000 a year, working 13 client hours a week, 0 overhead. If you add another day of redesign, so one of the homes she staged says, please help me with my new home, which they're always more inclined to do because they want to spend money on the home they're moving into, not the one they're walking away from. That is a total, you've just made over 6 figures, 20 hours. And this is a numbers game. This is a marketing numbers game, but this is being very clear on knowing who your target market is and exactly what you do, right? So it's very doable. The 3 keys to consultation success is you need to broaden your services. So some of you want to do consultation based, but you don't really know how to do color. You don't really know how to do redesign. You don't really know how to do e-design. That's all what you need to be doing. You need to be upselling the redesign. You need to start with staging, do redesign, e-design, color. That needs to be part of your business model. That needs to be part of your upsell. But I always say start with color, because color is a gateway service. People are afraid of it. And when you talk color to people about finishes and furnishings and paint, then it all kind of comes together. And color offers a lot of bang for someone's buck, right? People don't want to spend thousands on a painter and pick the wrong color. And let's face it, we've all done that, right? So this brings me to my very first offer. I told you I was going to offer some offers throughout this training. This is my very first one. Let me get to it. Sorry, I'm going to the chat room to offer this for you. And it is to become a certified color expert. Hopefully you see that right there. This is my 3-day online training. You're getting a $50 discount on it. Today, I only discount on these live trainings. I have not had anyone walk out of this training and not love it. I'll be really honest. If there's any mystery to color for you, I take the mystery completely out. It's an award-winning training. Over the course of 6 modules, I walk you through, you're not picking just paint colors for client, you're helping them pick finish colors. Basically, you're launching the design portion of your business with that. I walk you through how to structure that consultation. I give you all the forms. And of course, I show you how to market, because color is kind of easy to partner with painters and let them sell kind of your color services, because people are afraid of color. So I walk you through step by step. I give you the color tools. I partner you with Sherwin-Williams and Benjamin Moore, who are my 2 favorites. And we mail you that large box with the binder. But most importantly, I give you the cheat sheet, because why reinvent, right? You don't need to have thousands of colors memorized, maybe just the top 200 colors that everybody loves and knows, and message it or notes on exactly when those work for you. So that's my color training. I recommend right now, because this is going to go away, click on that. If you click on the offer where it says webinar discount price, it's going to open in a different window, and it just lets you think about whether you want to invest in your knowledge. That's it. It's just giving you the option of investing and knowing that you're also getting it at a better price. All right. So I will take questions on that training too at the end, because I also want to keep, working through some of this training, and I also want to keep that offer out for you. But it is, like I said, it just takes the mystery out of it. People love it. So let's talk about this sort of beast, right? Pricing for vacant homes. And this is Roxanne Flett. I'd shared this in my last blog, and I kind of love it. I love to share people's work. And this just doesn't happen with the snap of our fingers, right? Wish it did. And in her defense, the coffee table wasn't in yet. She was just going to put that in. It's just a photo that she sent. I'm going to get back to the chat room so I could see you guys there. All right. Okay. Oh, time commitment for the color training is only 3 days, but you have a year to do it. And it's at your own pace. Somebody asked that, so I've got to say that. Okay. So let's understand pricing when it comes to vacant homes. This is not something you're just going to immediately offer without really putting some thought into it. I'm going to walk you through it. It's not that hard, okay? Vacant homes take time. They take time. It takes planning and time. Basically, it also takes time in the home. It's the design time that you put into it, the furniture that you put into it, and the accessories, plus a couple of other things. But this is your three kind of main costs, and that's kind of your cost to offer this for your clients. It's just so some of you are clear. The good news is most of you have furniture rental companies in your area that you can start as a starting point. And so I'm going to talk about the difference between working with a furniture rental company and owning. I have veterans who have used furniture rental companies for many years and still get the bids, because the bids are not just about pricing. I'm going to walk you through that. But you can decide whether you want to own some of that, become your own furniture rental company, or start getting the big pieces at the furniture rental company first, and then you are the icing, the accessories. And then buying wholesale, going that wholesale route so you get best prices on those accessories and furniture, and building out rooms. This is kind of the slow process of how it works. You're building out rooms because we can all agree that a couch, a chair, and a coffee table are probably always going to go in a living room, right? The vacant service is more of an investment. It is. It's going to be, it's not something that, you need some of those accessories, because the seller can go directly to the furniture rental company and rent those things themselves, but that does not make for a staged, beautifully home like what you just saw Roxanne did, because their stuff is not that great. I always say their basic stuff, their furniture's decent, it can work for the furniture, but your accessories, your shopping, your design is the icing. So this is why planning makes perfect. And my members know this. An ounce of research will save you a pound of headache if you do this at a time. Don't be like me, where my very first call before I did any planning on my business was for a vacant home and think I can do it, right? I was like pulling my hair out. So you've just got to do a little planning, and planning starts with looking at your homes online on realtor.com. And if you're one of those people that are like, I don't know if staging's for me, I really would love this, I know it would be good for me, but I don't know if my area could warrant it, look at the homes online and ask yourself whether they could benefit from staging. That's your market. And I've never seen a market that couldn't, I'll be really honest. And then know your options by going to the furniture rental companies in your area. That's your warehouse, guys. That's your starting point for certain pieces. And if maybe you can find a couch and a side table and a table here, but really you hated their dining chairs, now you know what small pieces you may want to start buying to add to that, because you're slowly building your accessories and you're building your team. This is your team. The furniture rental company is part of your team. The movers are part of your team. You have to know your limits, though. You're not going to, that first home, 6,500 square feet, is probably not going to be the first home you're going to do. And if you're one of those people that say that my town doesn't have a furniture rental company, I have to tell you, you are so lucky. You are so incredibly lucky, because that means there's a huge market for you, because that means they don't have it for sellers or agents either. Time for you to start investing in furniture and be one. Where there is not something maybe in your market, that there is opportunity. So it's not a negative, it's a positive. You just have to change that mindset. Okay, so understand it's a process. And part of that process in my training, I give to my members, I'm just giving you a glimpse of kind of what's in the training, but I have just one sheet on how to prepare for offering vacant homes. So it starts with researching and connecting with your furniture rental companies. If there's not, then consider being one. Photograph inventory of their furnishings, clear sheet of your process, print your contract, dial it in. You've got your agreement, know how to take payment. It's all of these things. So just so you know, there is a step-by-step kind of checklist process for offering this. So it's not hard. You just easily just break it down. It also really helps for you to know your location norms. And this is where I'm going to do a shout out to RESA. RESA is the Real Estate Staging Association for our industry. It is the only trade association not attached to a training company. It's the only one. So when you go there, you're going to have people from all sorts of different training companies, which, by the way, gives you all sorts of cool input, right? So shout out, if you are on this line and you work for RESA, or not work for RESA, you're a volunteer for RESA, you're one of my RESA chapter leaders, you're on the board, you're state president, will you please say it in the chat room? I just want to do a kudos shout out to you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for all you do. I've been vice president of RESA. I've been on the board of RESA. I've served on RESA too. And it's where we all get together as a group and we can talk vendors. We can talk who was easy to work with, who wasn't, who we liked, who we didn't. We can talk pricing together. By the way, this is how I had my pricing epiphany. I looked at a lot of different RESA pricing and I realized there was some commonalities to all of us across the country. Thank you, Stacy. Thank you, Kim. It's where we can give each other help. This is where we work together to raise our industry because we are not each other's competition. I always say that there's so much room in this industry. Half of us who get into staging will go into design. I'm just going to tell you that. There's so much opportunity. You saw that I already gave you those opportunity sheets, those stats. Rising tides lifts all boats. This is where we work together to educate people so that every home is staged, and not just staged, but beautifully staged. But at the end of the day, you need to remember that you always need to do you. You need to do you. Okay? Because I told you, anybody can be a stager. So remember, some people are going to come to those chapter meetings and they won't have invested in any information or training. They just are coming to get whatever free information they can get, and they don't want to invest in their business. And they may have struggles in their business because of that. And you're going to hear them and think that that's just an industry. It's not. There's so many stagers killing in this industry. So you do you got to focus on being your best. How can you do that? Let's talk about this. You got to be clear on your costs. Cover your hourly. Vacant staging is going to be 8+ hours, right? You're planning, you're inputting in the home, you're destaging. You got to know your furniture rental cost, your own inventory costs. Now, here's a hot tip. When you buy something for your business, when you start going shopping, because we love to shop, right? We all do. You want to aim for getting that item paid for in 5 months. 5 months, meaning 5 months in a home. Okay, so we got to be smart shoppers. Don't worry, I'm going to walk you through it. There's the storage costs and the packing material. That's a whole other training that I have in my training, how to store, pack your items. The moving truck or movers cost, you don't need to worry about that as much if you work with the furniture rental company because they kind of cover that. But if you are going to be that furniture rental, then we need to start getting bids for that. Moving trucks, movers costs, area to area can be anywhere from $100 to $1,000. Every area is different. Price shop. And then there's, of course, assistant cost, because you are not going to lift that couch yourself. I love this one. In fact, my veteran stagers don't lift couches at all. They're just pointing. They're pointing. And you know who they're pointing to? Their assistants who are moving the couches. Kidding. That's what happens. But we all start somewhere, okay? The struggle is real. We start somewhere, but I just want you to know that it's very encouraging where business is going to go for you. Movers can be very affordable if you price shop, collaborate with RISA. I told you, if you connect with your local chapter, if you have a local chapter, then a lot of times we work together. Our RISA chapter does, where if they're free one day, they can come in and be your assistant. $25 an hour, $50 an hour, whatever it is. It's a lot cheaper than what my hourly is. Or consider hiring. Some of us are at the point where we need to hire. And there are great resources for that. Lots of it, from your local college to temp agencies to putting an ad at Indeed.com. Great resources for it. Like I said, that's a whole other training for how to hire. But that's part of your cost. Now let's talk nuts and bolts on what you charge in terms of your costs. So I'm going to get into my epiphany later. I'm going to tell what you charge. But here's your cost. When you really think about your inventory and it being paid off in 5 months, that equates to you charging 10% of the retail cost per month of that item, or 20% of the wholesale cost of the item, which, by the way, is the same price. Okay, I know this confuses people, but it shouldn't. Your retail and wholesale are two different prices, right? Your retail should be 100% more than your wholesale. Because if you buy that awesome, we all like to shop. Who here loves home goods, right? You buy that awesome bed set at Home Goods, that one of a kind, it's $100. You're not going to sell it for $100, right? You're going to sell it for $200. That's your retail. This is your wholesale. So 10% of that is $20. That's kind of what you'd be charging. 20% is $20. Get it? Got it. Don't worry, I have a much simpler way for you to work out your costs. But I tell people that because you kind of need to know how you're going to pay off your things in 5 months. But buying wholesale will greatly lower your expenses. Buying wholesale. Home Goods is not wholesale. Home Goods is not wholesale. Neither is Target or Walmart. So get your wholesale license. If you're wondering how to do that, go to Google and put wholesale license in my state. You'll get a link, and it'll probably take you about 10 minutes. It's that easy. Actually, I have links and everything in my training too. I also have a black book. But buying wholesale means you're going to go to market, whether that's High Point or go to Las Vegas Market with me. The RISA convention, we have our staging convention every year, July 28th to August 1st. I host a huge party for all my members, drinks on me. We have so much fun, and then after our great convention, we march on over to the Las Vegas market where we go shopping wholesale as a group. And if you're wondering what that looks like, you can go to lasvegasmarket.com and click register. You register for free once you have your wholesale license. How easy is that, right? Here is me and my sister. I told you I like to share. And this was us last year at the Las Vegas market. And yes, there are 3 full, huge buildings of, I mean, you are going to be like a kid in the candy store when you do this. Treat yourself to this. Even if you're brand new stager, even if you're just thinking about staging and you're like, maybe I should do this. Do it. It's free. Now, the RESA convention isn't, but this is. I'm going to show you some of the deals that I found in a couple photos just for fun. But if this feels overwhelming to you, or if some of that fear creeps in for you because you're overwhelmed, my good friend Michelle Minch, HSR grad, and Todd McAllister have a wonderful class you can sign up for. They literally walk you through. They are veteran stagers holding your hand. This is just part of Stagers Helping Stagers. It's not a free class. Nothing good is free when it comes to training. I'll just be really honest with you guys. But here's what you can get. So Shop the Furniture Markets is their website. If you need Michelle Minch, you can Google her to find if you want to join that class. So how much do you think a complete dinette set, the 4 beautiful chairs, these are kind of quality, bench and table would be at your Ethan Allen or your local furniture store. How much do you think this would cost? Did you come up with $560? I don't think so. In the chat room, you're probably like, 1,000 or 1,200 or whatever. Yes, you're right, because those furniture retail stores are buying it here at the market. Okay, this is a small scale kind of a townhome couch. This couch is sectional, I should say, $199, right? This is a nicer couch, right? It's a little bigger, larger scale, a little bit nicer. Obviously, we're not going to use those pillows. How much do you think this couch with its love seat partner, because you always do that, are together? $858. Wow. Yeah, I love it. Thank you for the wows. I love it. It makes me know you're awake. Wow, 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 wow. Yes, this is why we go to market. Oh, there's a picture of Todd. Yeah, Todd walking us through. This queen bed, $279. Yeah. And stagers, we have so much fun here because we run into each other. This fiddle leaf tree, I think a Ballard is $500. At the market, it's $89. This artwork, this is a 4-piece artwork, beautifully framed, beautifully matted. You can't really tell in the photo, but it is large scale. $119 for all 4 of them. You can't even get that at Home Goods, right? This is why you have to see it to believe it. And in my training, I have a whole training on this and what kind of deals you can get and where to go. But look at these chairs. Look how cute. I kind of love all these chairs. But these chairs normally at a furniture store would be $500, right? $120. And there are details on how to shop, how to ship, how to do all of that. Those are things you need to know. I have that training in my training. That's a whole other training, guys, for a different time. I'm just giving you a glimpse of the opportunity in this industry and the fun. And if you love design and you love the shopping and you're like, what? This is it. These lamps, any one of these lamps, beautiful lamps, only $50. All right? Okay. So you got this. Smile, smile. Yes, Maria, I love it. Yes, yes, yes. You got this. So would those lower your costs? Some of you who are trying to piece it together because you didn't even realize that was available to you because you haven't gone through my training. You didn't know. Guess what? You got this. It's there. Okay. But here's where I'm going to get, this is where I'm going to do a little tough love on some of you. We got to talk truthfully. Can we be honest with each other? If you don't have a good contract, you think, yeah, I can do this vacant stuff now. I can throw it all out there. If you don't have a good contract, you're going to be in trouble. I'll be really honest. Forget about it. I don't think I spelled that right. You're going to need that. There's clauses in that contract that save your behind. You need to have that. Training needs to give you that. If you've taken one, it's in my training. If you think that price is the most important thing, that the seller's just going to go stager A, B, C, and D, and you just have to be the lowest price because you shop better, you're going to fail. Because there's those stagers that just hang a shingle that have no idea, and they will undercut you every time. If you judge your market by the one negative Nelly agent that tells you something negative, oh, we don't need stagers here, this market can't afford staging. I told you 0% of stagers, oh, I should have told you, 0% of agents in that NAR profile of agents where they pulled thousands of agents, those agents, typical age was 55 years old. And I remember thinking, oh man, if they're 55, they're stodgy. Not one of those agents recognized that staging wasn't valuable. so don't listen to them. You can't let that negativity creep in. If you think sending out proposals and not following up, not getting to the decision maker and not educating them on what your proposal is about is going to be the answer, you're going to fail. And if you think you can be successful without putting yourself out there, your brand and who you are, you will fail. So let's do a critical review. I hate to be negative. I hate it. It doesn't come natural for me to talk about the ways that you can fail because I really want you to be positive. The point is, those are all very changeable for you. If you are working from a place of fear and not confidence, you're going to struggle. That fear creeps in like anything else. I'm going to show you how to easily overcome it. If you're relying on your phone to ring and you're not marketing yourself, putting yourself out there, you will fail. Every entrepreneur knows that marketing is the key equation when you're just getting started. And if you think that you can not market and you can just maybe discount, be the low price stager in your area because you are working on price alone or you're easily pushed around on your bids, you will fail. You get it. So here's the good news and bad news. And some of it just comes down to understanding our clients. Our clients usually start with agents and sellers. Hey, the good news is for those of you, that same NAR profile, 30% of the calls stagers are getting are from sellers. They're not agents. Sellers are actually staging first before they choose their agent. So if you're that stager and you're like, I'm getting chosen from a seller, and then that seller needs to choose agents, you should have a couple agents that you refer business to there as well. You refer those sellers to those agents that you love. That's called a great agent partner. Because here's how you really need to understand agents that you work with, your number one target market. They are expert negotiators and salespeople who respect the same. They respect the same in you. And if you have a question in the chat room, save it for the end. I've got to get through this. I got too much good information to share with you. Meaning they don't respect it if you're always backpedaling, you're not clear on your pricing, you're discounting, you don't really have a contract or know what you're doing. They're expert negotiators. The skill sets needed to be a successful realtor, they are negotiating home sales with emotional people every day of their life if they're a successful agent. So that's what it takes. They are always going to ask, guys. They're always going to ask. That's part of being a successful negotiator. And if you give an inch, they're going to take a mile. But don't be like bummed if they ask you. That's okay. They're smart to ask. Be firm. Because at the end of the day, they are reasonable business people who understand the value of staging. Do I need to give you that statistic again? Right? They understand it. They get it. And guess what? Here's the best news. They want the same thing as you. They want that home to be so incredibly beautiful that it gets the best price. When buyers walk in, they go, wow, your listings are awesome. Will you represent me? Right? They want that. Do you think they're going to get that from the low price leader? Do you think they're going to get that from the stager that's not honest with them? So that this is all the good news. But here's the other deal. Here's the realm that a lot of you guys are in. Not all agents are equal. There's the low hanging fruit client. And we got to talk about that. It has to be said. For some of you are just waiting for your phone to ring. You're not doing much marketing. I have a whole marketing plan for you in my training. It is not hard. In fact, people just get started on it and then their business is just exploding. And I'm going to talk to you a little bit about that in just a bit. But if you're just sitting there and you're the stager that just spent hours on a proposal because you got the phone call from the agent who's calling 8 other stagers to do the same, and what that agent's going to do is take those 8 proposals and put it in front of their seller and go, okay, seller, pick stager A, B, C, D, E, F, G based on their proposals. Who do you think, if you're the seller, they're going to pick? Who do you think they're going to pick? The lowest price, right? Those are bad odds. I always say when you're just getting started in training, it's okay. It's a learning process. Everything we do is a learning process, okay? But we don't continue to do it, right? Your contract should keep you from making mistakes with that. I always have to hound on that. It's going to be your best friend because it's going to keep you firm on what you need to do. I'm going to talk about pricing and positioning, and I'm going to give you my epiphany pricing. You won't believe it, but it is about positioning than pricing. Because if you know that agent's going to do that and put it in front of their seller, you know what the conversation needs to be. It needs to be a position. It needs to be you stepping back and you telling that agent this. You know, agent, if you're going to get 5 other bids and you're choosing and you're putting it in front of your sellers, and these are just numbers to a seller, and they're going to base it on price, I'm probably not your stager, not your person. Because I don't sacrifice on my design look. I want you to get the best price for that home and sell it in the least amount of time. I want you to look good. And I'm afraid that that low price bid is not going to make you look good. So I'm not your person. Okay? So that's just verbiage. I have a lot of verbiage like that in my training. Hopefully that helped you. Do you feel the power behind that verbiage? Do you? Yeah. Because it's not that you need to do more. It's not that you need to hustle more for the agents, because you're going to get those agents. It's okay. They're smart. They don't know. They're just getting bids. It's about educating them, focusing on less. And I'm not going to go through this whole thing, but again, a kudos, shout out to Judith, one of my people that we're talking about pricing, templates, proposals. And she had this epiphany. She shared it, I think it was a month ago on the general home stager group, where she just said, she was a veteran stager when she took my training a few years ago, and it opened her eyes. So if you're a veteran stager and you're not getting the numbers you want to do, or you're running around with your like a chicken with your head cut off, it's because you're not getting clarity in your business. And when she took my training, she got clarity in her business, and she realized exactly who her clients were, who the right ones were. You need to connect with the decision makers and pre-qualify from there. You don't sell yourself based on price, but you position on quality and education. You listen and you got to read on your clients. You got to understand their pain points, and you got to know how to sell yourself without being salesy. Thanks to Michelle Minch, my conversation with her just yesterday, she reminded me of these things. Here's a great example from our Stagers Connect group. Shannon had all but given up on those low-hanging fruit. She was frustrated with them, so she started just doing occupieds and was doing fine with that. But then she got a call from the seller, what do you know, who she was able to do a bid on, but she's almost like given up on vacants, right? So she went in with a high bid. She saw the home needed a lot of cosmetic stuff. You can just read it through, please. And she just told him, according to his budget, he couldn't do both. So she came in as the expert, and she just said, you know what? You should just focus on doing these upgrades. Skip the staging if you can't afford it. The upgrades will make it look like a cake. The staging looks like the icing on the cake, but if you can't afford the icing, I get it. Let's just do these upgrades. And he was thrilled. Guess what? He wants it all. He believes she's the expert that she is. He's thrilled to have someone putting him in his house. And I often tell her all of her clients would be like that if she treated everyone the same. It's honesty, it's relationship. It's giving that client confidence in the abilities that you have. It's not overselling, it's building trust. It's not being afraid to say no to that client that's not yours. A lot of us are wasting a lot of time on the clients that aren't ours. She used her resources that she was given in my training to educate the client, and she believed in her ability, but you have to believe in that ability. And this is what gives you I'm going to go to it before I get you to my thing. This gives you to my second offer. I'm going to tell you where I offer my staging training. My staging training covers both staging and redesign. You're getting a discount by signing up for it today. It is expiring tomorrow. Hopefully you see that. I recommend you click on that button, click for discount, open up, give yourself the option. This is an investment in your business, in yourself, and who you are. Because if you don't have the confidence, here's some tough love. Confidence comes from knowing, comes from knowledge. You're not going to get it from a 1-hour live webinar. This will be helpful to you, but imagine a lot more of this. You're going to have the design and real estate knowledge. You're going to have the structure. You're going to have the pricing. You're going to have the process. You're going to have the access, the support, and the resources. You're going to have the vendors. You're going to know who your vendors are. Imagine all the mystery taken away, and you're going to get certification, which means you can go into that realtor and you are above your competition because you have been educated. You have taken the time for that. So I really hope You join me, click on that button, give yourself that option. The training is a 3-week intensive online course, but it is at your own pace. You can take 3 months. You have access for a year, and then at that year point, you can continue access by renewing. But most, you can get through a 3-week course in a year. But a lot of people renew because they're getting business from being in our directory. That's where Shannon got that call, from being in our directory. I cover everything. So if you think I had a lot of information for you in this 1 hour, I have a whole lot more to show you after this, but I have a whole lot more in my training. But more than that, I make you look good because I'm a marketer. You guys know this. So I have all the marketing sheets. I told you, I just shared all those. I do all the work for you. So I save you hours and hours and hours and hours. I give you these sheets, these forms that you can then customize and give to your client. I give you the price sheets. I give you for vacant and occupieds. I give you the contracts. I give you the order forms so that you know. The pricing, as you can see, you're getting a discount. I never discount my pricing. I always tell you not to discount. This is the only time I discount is in these lives, and this is your opportunity. And maybe today is the day that you have to say, okay, I have spent months and months trying to figure this out if you're a new stager. And I'm going to tell you, you'll have all the answers in 3 weeks if you just invest in this. And it's so funny because we always think $1,000 is a lot of money. $1,000 is going straight to your brain, to who you are. And we don't think twice spending that for our kids' college educations where they don't even get the info they need. You're going to get it all. Contracts. I'm giving you the blueprint for success. How do I know what it is? Because I'm connected to the hundreds of stagers out there who are doing it every day. And I've been doing this for years and the longest. I give you all these forms. You look good. You can take the new stats I gave you, plug them in, and you're always saving time. It's an evolved training. It's A to Z. Yes, I mailed you a large training manual because I believe that you need to touch it, you need to see it like you're seeing right now, and you need to hear me. But the most important thing that's important about an online training, and you cannot take a classroom training with this industry, is you need to be able to refer back to it. You need me there to give you a pep talk, because if you took a classroom and you had all your notes and then 2 months later you got your first call for a consultation, you're scrambling trying to remember what you learned in the classroom. You're not doing that with me. You're going to go right into my training. You're going to go to the consultation section and you're going to get the pep talk, right? If you felt like this was a pep talk, just wait till you get in my training. I'm going to remind you of your verbiage, remind you how to stick to your pricing. So it's all these great things. I really hope to work with you because I don't want you to be like Lindsay or be like Lindsay. Lindsay was like so many of you. She spent hundreds of hours trying to get the information for free. I got an email from someone yesterday. I can't afford the training. Can you refer me to free training? You get what you pay for, guys. You're going to waste so much time if you don't. And I don't mean just any training. Someone would say, well, I got certified from someone else. I'm sorry. It's not me. And that's the ugly story. I got to just do a little bragging. Because if you like my style here, if you like the way I train here, then you're my person. If you don't like my style, if you don't like seeing a lot of visuals, hearing a lot of information, getting all the forms into me, then I'm not your person. And it's okay. But I want to encourage you. I want you to know if you're not confident going into that home, you're worried that you're not sure that you can do this for a living, you can. Confidence comes from knowledge. So investing in your learning inevitably leads to confidence. I walk you through the how-to, the design. If you have that passion, then I promise you, I help you take that passion and put it into a business. Thank you, Jennifer. So worth $1,000. All right. So I know I'm going to take questions. You get everything. You get the evolving course. In fact, I have bonuses in this training that my HSR people are like, yay, yay, yay. I'm putting it in the training. I'm doing an encore of this training with all of the new forms that I'm coming up. I'm going to show you in the next 10 minutes. I'm putting in the training in the next week. You guys are going to love it. Okay. So how do you find your unique selling proposition? You got to be you. People are buying you. They're buying your design. If you're not confident in that, you need training. Just going to go back to it. Don't be afraid of your brand. I had someone in my training say, I don't usually have people say they're struggling, and I had someone say they're struggling. And as a group, and I love the transparency that she laid out there. We went in there and I went on her website and there was no beautiful her on her website. There was no photo of her on her website. It looked very vanilla. It was a beautiful site, but she was afraid to put herself out there. You can't be afraid to put yourself out there. You do, because people are buying you. And then you have to trust that when you put yourself out there, remove that fear of putting yourself out there, that the right people are going to come your way. I promise you they will if you put yourself out there. I'm putting myself out there right now by offering you this free training. right? I do this. A lot of trainers don't do this. I always say never buy training from anyone that you haven't seen the way they train. I'm putting myself out there so that you know whether I'm a fit for you. You got to work your butt off marketing your business. So that's entrepreneurship 101. The good news in the staging industry, it doesn't take much. You get realtor partnerships, you be true, you find your people, that agency, you find your peeps. Those agents are going to love you, trust you. They're going to have you go out to all their listings a year from now. But you're never going to stop being in the marketing mode. You got to believe in who you are. You got to get on social media. You got to give clients some love. It's not about just taking and bragging about your business. It's about connecting. Notice I'm not sharing my own work here. I share all my other stagers' work. I love lifting people up. When we lift each other up, guess what? I get more clients, and you get more business. And you can't be afraid to tell the ugly story. All right? You can't be afraid to do it. To my members, I just added this to the training. This is bonus number 2, and it is a little wordy, but I want you to know, I think that some of those proposals that you're throwing out, where you're just, remember I told you the realtor's putting it in front of the seller, proposal A, B, C, D, and E. Imagine if the second page of proposal had this: top tips for choosing the right home stager for your project. And it's just educating them. You got to review their portfolio. You got to see examples of their inventory in a space. You got to ask the stager what kind of look they can expect. All of these warnings. What am I doing here? I'm educating them. To my stagers, HSR, this is not, I'm putting this in the training next week with my encore. It is in a PowerPoint new proposal that I'm giving you. You're going to love it. All these things. So can you imagine if you added this to your proposal? Because some of us we throw out numbers and we hope it sticks. Because we got to focus on what we can control, not what we can't. I can't control if they're going to pick the low price leader. I can control if I can educate them. I love this saying, you might want to take your phone and take a photo of it. My friend told me this the other day. If you think, this is what I tell agents, this is what you should be telling agents, especially after you get your certification through me. If you think hiring a professional is expensive, wait till you hire an amateur. That's where the real cost is. But some of you are just overanalyzed. Here's where I get the good stuff, guys. Overanalyzing, paralyzed by overanalyzing. And I've been guilty about that because in my training, I help you work out costs and I give you lots of information. But some of you are crunching too many numbers and you're letting that kind of paralyze you, right? And you're trying to work under an incorrect framework, trying to hammer that pricing. You're thinking pricing, and it's not pricing. You're not factoring you are factoring in your full hourly for grunt work. Because let's face it, destaging a home, you shouldn't be charging $100 an hour to destage a home necessarily. That's grunt work. That's a $25 an hour assistant, right? So that's part of you not being efficient in your business. And too many of us are wasting time on contract issues and building proposals. You're spending way too much time building those proposals for those low-hanging fruit instead of focusing on the right client, and you're complicating your numbers. So are you ready to do the happy dance? Are you ready? This is it, guys. This is my epiphany. I had it and I tested it in several markets in several ways. It's a 3-step process to building a vacant proposal. You can do it over the phone in any area across the country quickly and efficiently. Here it is. You ready? I want you to write this down. Find your area. See your area? You find your area and note the number. So my area is San Diego. It's 13%. Okay? So find your area, find your corresponding number. You can find the closest area to you. If your area is not even remotely represented here, don't worry. Here's the link that you can go to where you can find what the labor cost. I'm giving you the labor cost in your zip code. This is going to be your sliding scale. I'm going to give you the base number. Don't worry, that's step 2. But step 1 is you need to find out what labor cost is in your area. That's your sliding scale. Because what somebody pays in San Francisco, California for a stager is really different than what they pay in Shreveport, Louisiana. I think we can all agree on that. Our pricing is not the same. I'm walking you through how to price a vacant home in every area. Okay, so you've got that number. My number was 13%. I take that number. Base price is what you're supposed to do is charge $500 to $900 per room staged, depending on the size and luxury level of the home for 30 days of staging. Okay, a kitchen. Not a nook, guys, but just a kitchen and 2 baths equal 1 room, right? Because those are just accessories. Those are furnitureless. Okay. So I just want to let that sink in. And now I'm going to tell you how that equates. My area, San Diego, I told you is 13%. So I just plug that number. I add 13% to that base number I just gave you, 500, 900. Some of you, your area was negative 30% or negative 25% because you're in cheaper areas. You need to plug that in, lower that price. So I'm adding it so that my base price starts at 565. 565 is the lowest room price I can do in my area. And it goes up to 1,000 per room depending on the luxury level and scale of the home. Okay. Are you guys getting this? I told you geographic market. I already gave you your geographic number at that fixer price. Okay. So in my area, I told you I had the 13%. That's my geographic number. And here's my cost. It's $565 a room for a small townhome. A mid-size home, $750. Larger scale would probably be in the $850. A luxury large scale, about $950. Get it? Got it. Good. I told you I move fast. Why do I love this? Let me tell you. Did that take me 2 minutes? Did that take you 2 minutes? You were clear and you were confident on your pricing, and guess what that gives you? Credibility. Anyway, you're credible. You're not talking about pricing anymore. You're talking about what's the scale and the luxury level of this home, stager. How much are we pricing at? You're speaking from a point of confidence and credibility. You're pricing on positioning, not price. Do you get it? You're positioning on authority, and that's the luxury and scale. You're not flexing at all. Does that make sense? Yes. You've kept it simple, stupid for your client. Do you think your clients are going to love that? Do you think that's going to blow their minds? Yeah, I know. I had this epiphany, I'm telling you. You've allowed the client to value down and afford you, right? Because what do? Oh, wow. Well, I wanted to pay $3,000 for my town. I wanted to pay $3,000 for this luxury, higher luxury home, but I see that only gives me 3 rooms. Okay, I'm just going to get these 3 rooms staged. Okay, that's fine. They're still going to choose you because it's transparency in pricing. That's called stair-stepping your pricing for a vacant home. I just gave it to you. You're able to screen out the looky-loos and the low-hanging fruit while making them think, wow, this person's pricing sure makes sense to me. I love it. Price per room, here we go. Got it, right? Can you make money? Let's say your base price was 0% in your area. Denver, I think, was 1%. $500 for the cheapest, lowest townhome. You're staging a living room, dining room, kitchen, bath, $1,500. You're going to make money on that. I promise you. Because here's the point. This is not a negotiable price. The home is what it is, right? You're not going to give the luxury home the townhome price, right? Be true to your sliding scale. You just say, I recommend you have a minimum of 3 rooms. I'm not going to go anywhere for under $1,500 anyway, right? Minimum of rooms. The kitchen and baths are furniture-less. Remember, a nook is considered a separate room. Non-negotiable. You're going to think like a carpet cleaner, right? When a carpet cleaner comes in and they do rooms, they know what the space is. They know how they have to fill it. Is that not what we're doing as staging? Yes, this price for vacant. I'm talking only vacant. So 3 rooms in a townhome, I told you base price, $1,500. Can you put, that's $5,000 worth of furniture in just 3 little rooms. I mean, it's really just 2 rooms. You're getting a dining and living room. Kitchen, baths, I always insist on. You like how I worked that? I always insist on a kitchen and bath. So now you're clear on costs. Now what do you need to do? Lower your cost to fit that simplified range. It's not hard. That's actually a pretty good range. And shop smart. You're now coming in from a position of authority. You've given a very clear price based on the labor cost of the location in your area and based on quality and scale of the home. I cannot give you a low scale price. And in the point of the day, if there's a stager coming in at a low price realtor, guess what happens? It means they're putting small scale furniture in there. Cheap furniture. I don't want to do that to you. Because remember, we have the same goal. We want this home to look beautiful. We want you to get the best price. We want you to be known as the agent that everybody wants to go to because you do the most for your clients. So if you're working with furniture rental companies and you're like 30 days, that's tough. How am I going to do that? Negotiate with them to fit that rental range. If they won't, then you're going to add for the month. I'm going to walk you through that. Get paid up front at signing of contract. Let's just all do this, right? Can we all just get paid up front? I think most people realize that. When you're coming in with authority, you're credible, you're knowing what your pricing is, you're knowing what you're doing it, and I'm going to walk you through. You're not chasing money. They get it. And guess what? You can provide a quick estimate over the phone to save time, right? Over the phone, I know square footage of the home. I'm going to ask them luxury level. I have all that information. And then guess what I'm doing? I'm just plugging it into my proposal. My HSR members, this is going into the encore training of the vacant section this week. This proposal, all the stuff I've given you, this is bonus number 3. And basically all I'm doing is going, how many rooms? Front living room, 1, 2, nook, 3, kitchen and bath, 4, 5, 6, 7 rooms. Throw out that. And I'm timesing it by my per room for the luxury level of the home, plugging it in. The monthly renewal rate is 20%. But agent, you're good. You can sell this home in less than 30 days. We're going to dial it in. So, Shawnee, I love it. She gets it. She's with me. Yoo-hoo! You will make more on some, less on others, but you're going to save so much time on the front end and efficiency. And I want to tell you, because I had a couple veterans, when I ran this price on them, they're like, oh, that seems too low. I'm like, well, let's look at your proposals. I'm counting their rooms. Boom, 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 boom. There's 8 rooms. Okay, 8 times your market was 600. Okay, that's 40, whatever it was, 4,800. You charge 47. We're right in the same price. So you're going to make more on others and not on others, right? Because even though we're charging the same price per room, they can argue, oh, well, the dining's less. No, it's not. It's just a per room. I lose on living rooms. I gain on dinings. It's just, I'm keeping it simple for you, agent. I'm non-negotiable on this. It's a simple pricing. Then after 30 days, you're in charge of 20% rental fee, right? I talked about that. So if you're 30, I told you the cheapest thing, the $1,500 townhome, after 30 days, it's 20% of that cost. So a lot of you, your numbers look bigger because you're going 60, 90 days. These homes are selling faster than that, guys. A lot of them, they are. So we're just offering options, right? So 20% of, then we always charge for keeping stuff in there. And of course, ideally, we want to turn it over. Home must be stage ready. What is home stage ready? What is stage ready? Well, by the way, guys, in the proposal I'm giving you, which by the way, I put in Word so that you can easily use it for imaging, PDF, easily move the boxes and retype it. And also make it prettified, because you know me, I like things pretty. Or you can just make it an image and upload it into your Canva, because I show you how to do that. So my HSR stagers, your proposals are going to be killing it, because the first page of the proposal is all this. Second page is the top tips. Third page is your portfolio photos. I've got it all in there for you. Stage ready means construction, painting, repair, everything's done. This home is ready for all of our furnishings. That's it. It's not, I haven't gone over cosmetics or any of that with you. If you want me to do that, that's called a consultation. That's what I'm charging for when I walk in. It's a responsibility of a customer to have electricity, working heat, air running, all these things. And if you haven't gone through a training or you didn't have a contract and you didn't know that, you probably went to your first home and I didn't have this, and that was a bummer. That's why training matters. Removing the mystery. That's why I've got that button up for you to take my training. For safety, pets can't be there. So that's stage ready. We got to define that, right? Let's talk truthfully. Full information is not free. And $900.50 for my staging training, a blueprint is a steal. I'm giving you the ugly story right now on my training. Without knowledge and a good contract, you could sink. I have all of this and much more in my training. And if you're on this line and you feel like you learned something in just 1 hour with me, imagine 3 weeks. Imagine it. And ongoing. Because I'm going to personally mentor you in your business all the way through. And I'm going to make sure you hit it. You kill it. Like I did to that gal on Stagers Connect yesterday. We're going to go. So I really hope you come, because I do tell you, I have people who are like, Audra, I was watching your webinars for years and I'm finally pulled the trigger, and wow, I wish I started this earlier. Wow, why didn't I do this earlier? So that offer is there. Open it up. Think about it. Because the thing I see people do is in the end, they only regret the chances they didn't take, right? Life is short. It is short, people. I love this. I just got this testimonial, I think it was 2 days ago, from Jane. HSR changed her life. HSR being my training. She searched for 20 years on how to fill that empty space in her heart. We are creatives, guys. We need to create, especially when it comes to design. So she did the evaluation. She got the aha moment, and good for her. Her first staging job was a 4,500 square foot new build, and she got the contract. and I love it. Hold on to your hats and go for it. I always say, give me your passion. This is where it starts, guys. Put your hand out. Your passion is in that hand. You love design. It's there. Give me that. Give me 30 days. Immerse yourself in my training, $950. I'm going to show you how to create a successful business doing what you love. And I love it. Thanks for the shout outs. Everything I have in this training, I walk you through in that vacant pricing. If that went too fast for you, don't worry. I'm doing an encore presentation for my members with all the forums, guides. It's in there. If you sign up for my training, you're going to get all that. Don't worry, because I'm always evolving, always changing. This replay and these offers are going away tomorrow night. I'm actually pulling this replay down, not offering it again. So if you need to see it again, you can tomorrow. And these offers, do the soul searching. Think about investing in yourself. Think about choosing yourself. I've got all the answers in the training, and I know you've got other questions, because trust me, there's a lot to know in this industry, a lot to know. It's all in the training. Thank you, Melissa. Thank you, guys. I'm sorry I went longer than an hour. This was brand new. I didn't know. I was trying to be quick, but you guys were awesome. Thank you for being awesome. Maybe your timing isn't right. I hope we'll stay in touch. And I will see you again. I'm not going to do another live webinar for a while. I'm not going to be discounting this for a while. So even if the timing isn't right, sign up for the training today. Start in 2 months. Start in 5 months. It's fine. You'll get it. This is the best price you're ever going to get. And it's all there for the color and for the staging. Thanks, you guys. You rock. Enjoy the rest of your day. You guys were wonderful. And thank you so much for the privilege of being able to speak to you and for coming today. I really, really appreciate it. I love what I do. I love the people I work with. And I wish I could talk to you longer too, Maria. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.